Howdy everyone, welcome to Zombicide Dead West. This is the stretch goal character unlocks for Zombicide Undead or Alive, which is the base game. So again, this is the big giant box which has all the different stretch goal characters. It's actually a really neat box. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 24, 36. Like 51 characters are just survivors plus a bunch of zombies and abominations. So if you're looking to expand your game and you missed the Kickstarter, sometimes this is resold secondhand. Usually a pretty steep markup. Sometimes the actual CMON might resell it through a store, or a retailer may have purchased this through the Kickstarter and have available there. So if you want a ton of extra people, this is the one to check out. There's no new other gameplay modes, no extra cards. You get your character cards, of course, but you're not getting any like extra equipment or any tiles or anything like that. Just survivors, zombies, and abominations. So I'll probably do this in a two-part video just because it'll get kind of long. So I'll probably do all the survivors in one video, and then part 2 will be all of the zombies. Just so that way, if you just want to see what the zombies are, you can skip ahead to part 2. The other two things to bring up is, one, I'm going to read through all the abilities on the card, but unless it's something I feel that needs to be explained, I'm not going to re-explain everyone. Like, it says +1 die or +1, D6 gets plus this. It's like, I've already explained it in previous videos. I'm not going to re-go over it. And I might just give a quick gist on some of the abilities if I went over them in previous videos. Otherwise, they're all in the rulebook, so if you own the game, clearly you just click up your rulebook and see what they do. The second thing is, majority of the characters or survivors in the stretch goals for CMON games are based on other characters from other franchises, other movies, TV series, historical characters. So I will do my best to list what people on the internet have gathered. So these might not be 100% accurate because CMON doesn't actually say, oh yeah, this character is this person. They change their names, they give references to them. Sometimes the name is like a reference to the actor. Sometimes it's a different take on the character's name, or maybe a role that actor played in a different movie. Not all these might not 100% be these, might just be what people think. So if I know it, I'll say character, what movie they're from, what the actor is. But again, these might not be 1,000% correct. The one other slight caveat into this rule is any of the Native American characters, for the most part, are very ambiguous. They clearly could be this guy from this movie, or this person from that movie, or it could be based off this historical person. Unless they use like an actual name that for sure is a historical person, that's who they based it off of, I'm not sure. So rather than even trying to hazard guesses on them, with the exception, I think, of maybe 1 or 2, I didn't try for most of them. So they're actually going to be the first couple of characters we're going to go through. So we'll take a look at them. Alright. Without further ado, a couple minutes into the video, we have Itza. See if I can get that a little better. Alright, so Itza is a Townsfolk. There's a little miniature there. Again, I don't know if this is based off anyone in particular. So this is the one that was kind of the exception. A lot of people thought this is maybe based off of Geronimo, like the character Geronimo. Or maybe from the movies. But again, I'm not for sure on that. I think they were trying to stay very vague on portraying them because a lot of times, especially in older westerns, the Native American, or, you know, if they would be in there, would have been Indians, weren't portrayed, like, were sometimes played by non-Native American characters or actors, or they weren't always portrayed in the correct light. They're just generic, and they weren't like representative of their actual like tribe or culture. So I think this game is trying to play on the safe side and just be like, hey, look at this. I think they did work with some people to try and make sure they're portrayed as accurate as they could in here, but that's what they did. Alright, so let's jump into what his abilities are. So he's got hit and run, which basically means if he takes out a zombie during an attack action, he gets a free move action. So these are definitely a fun one to have. Yellow is always one free action. And then the orange, you get one free move action or brawler. It's awesome. He becomes a brawler, which is really nice for that hit and run, because then you could then run up and hit someone and then use your townsfolk stuff to like back up and maybe shoot. In red, then we get one free combat action, or we have BIA, which stands for Brothers in Arms, one free combat action. So as long as they're with another player, they have this ability. It says the survivor can use this skill or game effect whenever they're staying in the same zone as at least one other survivor. As long as Brother in Arms is active, each survivor in the zone benefits from the indicated skill or effect. And then he has Born Leader on the bottom, which lets him give another character free skill. So he ends up with a lot of really awesome stuff at the end. Either you can be 100% just focused on yourself when you get that free combat action. You can use the Brother in Arms to give yourself and somebody else a free combat action, but they have to be in the same zone together. Or you can do Born Leader to have somebody else perform an action for free on your turn. So it kind of just depends there on the end and how you decide you want to play. But that's definitely a neat character there. Then we have Deswood, or Deeswad? Not for sure exactly how that's pronounced. Deswad, maybe? I love his hat, though. Like, is that fur, I'm guessing? It's really cool. He's holding the gun down, getting ready, you know. It's not aiming at people. There's also another townsfolk. Starting ability is +1 die for the rifle. Then +1 action. In orange, they can either have +1 free ranged action or point blank. Point blank is really fun. So they can shoot a rifle or a ranged weapon at 0 instead of having to start at 1 or 2, depending on the thing. So now his rifle already has 1 extra die. He could potentially then shoot it at close range. Plus, you can also ignore the friendly fire of hitting another character if they're too close, if you miss. Then his third one, he gets 1 free move action, becomes a brawler, or has Brother in Arm Reaper combat. So again, Brother in Arms, if he's with another player, he gains this, they both gain this ability. And then Reaper combat is, so Reaper is if they kill an enemy. It says, skill can be used on a sign resolving an action of a specific type, combat, melee, or ranged. One of these can freely eliminate an additional identical zombie in the same zone. Only a single identical zombie can be eliminated. The survivor gains AP points for both. So this basically means if he takes out a walker, he gets to take out a free walker. And then having that Brother in Arms means if he's next to somebody else, they can do it too. So with this guy, you could have him sitting at the end, either point blank, either he could be right up next to somebody else, then in shooting, and then they could do another like melee action. You guys can eliminate stuff. Or if you want the ranged route, he could stand back and they could both be firing and eliminate guys that way. So definitely cool abilities to start off with. Here we have Ganzi. I am gonna butcher all of these names this entire game. I'm bad with names though. She's got this hatchet. I'm guessing so it looks like a ground hoe for like gardening. Because she's got a bunch of like bread. Is that corn? Yep, it's corn in the back. Yeah, Gardner. This again makes me wish that they added extra weapons in here because I need to have that as a melee weapon. So she's a brawler type with improvised weapon melee. So improvising a weapon does improvised weapon. The survivor can use this skill once during each of their turns to perform a free melee attack using these special characteristics. 0 range, but they get 2 dice with 4 accuracy and they do 1 hit. So basically, she gets a free melee every turn. That's actually pretty cool. And she has 1 action. She gains gunslinger or melee damage too. So if you'd like to have her become a gunslinger for some reason, she could. But I think keeping her at the melee damage is probably the way to go. Because it ups our melee damage to 2. And then when you hit red, she gets +1 free melee action. Brothers in Arms, +1 free combat action. Or shove. And shove lets you push zombies into another clear zone next to you. So this is really good for melee characters because they can basically take out as many as they can with their actions. And then use that shove to push them all back. And if they're only walkers or brutes and they only get 1 action anyhow, the most they would do unless they get a free activation is move back into the area with you. They wouldn't be able to attack you yet. So that could be super helpful there. Alright, that's our 3rd character. Oh, yeah, actually, these guys are all the Native American characters. I don't believe they were based off of anybody. Let me just check my list here quick. Of course, I don't have it in any sort of order. So, trying to make sure I find all these guys is going to be a pain. Who was the other one we had? The D's. I don't even have him listed for some reason. I'm gonna probably say no. If I catch it later, I will double check it. Because I was dumb and I didn't put my list in alphabetical order. Or in list of the characters that I'm going through. I should have set this up a little bit better. That's alright though. We'll find them. Alright, so then we have Nabahai. There he's got a little hatchet, he's got a knife, he's got his rifle on the back. So definitely a brawler. Prepared to go in and start some stuff. So he starts off with Born Leader. Again, lets him have another survivor take a free action in his turn. +1 action, and then in orange he gets +1 free melee action or Brothers in Arms 1 combat die. So I've noticed a lot of Brother in Arms in here right now, so I don't know if this is going to be the full Kickstarter characters, or if this is going to be like showing that the Native Americans are a tribe, and they really get that Brother in Arms, they work together as a team, which is actually be a really cool theme actually. So we have +1 die to combat. Or in red, he gets +1 free combat action, Brothers in Arms +1 damage melee, or charge +1 damage. Yeah, so some nothing like super great that pops out there, like, but having all them abilities like stick together, again, you can go melee or free combat damage, action himself, so he gets 2 free actions, or makes that charge more powerful, or he can stick with other people and basically make his accuracy and his melee damage is even more powerful. So definitely cool there. Then we have Gezaba. This is one of the few like ranged characters. I get like lots of them are ranged, but like we have a bow and arrow character, which is really cool. You thought they'd maybe use that a little bit more. The little knife on the back, all the fringes on the dress and everything. So, what does she get to do? Well, she starts off with her bow. So, I did say there was no equipment in this game. I kind of lied. She gets her own piece of equipment. She gets her bow, which She has a range of 1 to 2. You roll 1 dice with 4 accuracy and 2 damage. When used by her, so anyone could potentially use this. She starts with it. You could pass it to somebody else if you want to, which is really cool. But she gains escalation ranged, which escalation means as long as you keep performing the same attack with this weapon, you get 1 extra die. So the first time she uses it, she gets to roll 1 die. The second time she uses it, she could use 2 die. The third time she get 3 die. And if you get up to that 4th action, and you're yellow, if you get 4 shots at it, she'd be 4 die. So every time she's going to become more and more powerful. And this is whether she hits with it or not. But then again, if somebody else takes it, that's just a regular bow. But then she gets her yellow, she gets 1 action. In orange, she gets Brothers in Arms, +1 die, ranged, or sprint. Sprint will let her move up to 3 spaces, so it lets her position herself really well to shoot stuff. Although she can't use her fanning ability with a bow because it's not a pistol. I believe fanning you have to use a pistol. So she doesn't really gain that. She uses that with the gunslinger, but she has that brother in arms. She sticks with someone else, she gets 1 extra die per her range, because she starts off with 2. Kicks off her escalation a lot harder. And then in red, she gets +1 free ranged attack, or brothers in arms, +1 free move, or fanning, +1 to dice total. So at least it's cool to give her an extra ability for fanning in case she wants to ditch her bow and jump into the pistol. But yeah, it gives us some cool options there. And then the last, I think was Native American I have for a while, and then we'll start getting into some interesting, not these guys aren't interesting, we'll get into some other characters that have references to stuff. This is Shay. I don't think he was. So this one, someone recommended or thought he might be James Brown, based off of the Godfather of Soul, because Shay here is Navajo for grandfather, and James Brown is the Godfather of Soul. So someone thought he kind of looked like that. They have done plenty of ones where they copy musicians before. And since musicians don't have they match the actors in a movie or a TV show, they try and make it look like that actor, but they can also use the wardrobe from their show, which helps sell that point. But as far as I know, James Brown was never in a Western, so that could definitely be that. That's up to you. I know one of the other sets in here, they use one of the artist sections. A guy literally makes a guy look like Snoop Dogg, so you could definitely see that as well. I was trying to see if the last character had anyone, but I don't see her listed. So I might not have her on there. Oh, yep, right there. Yep, I don't have anything for that. Alright, so there's a miniature for that. Alright, there's it. I love the I don't know what they're called, cloaks. Not really coats, but blankets over them, kind of poncho-y capes. I know poncho's the full one, a cloak is more so I'm not sure what that's actually called. But he has Brother in Arms Medic to start off with. Now this is a really powerful ability, because none of the characters in the base game have Medic, so this is the first character we've come across in this set that has Medic, which does exactly what you think it would do. Skills used during each end phase. Survivor and any survivor standing in the same zone may heal 1 wound up to their maximum health. So as long as this guy stays near people, he's going to heal once every turn, as well as whoever else is in his zone, so he can heal guys up. And then, just to reread that Brothers in Arm, it says, Survivor can use this skill or game effect whenever they're standing in the same zone and at least one other survivor. As long as Brother in Arms is active, each survivor in the zone, including one with the skill, benefits from the indicated skill. So that means if he's standing next to somebody else, he gets to use he gets to heal at the end of his turn, and then they heal. And then if they're still standing together at the end of that guy's turn, then they both heal again. So these guys can kind of sit next to each other and heal up twice every turn. Or if you get multiple guys, that could change. He could keep groups of people alive very well. So he gets +1 action, and then his his orange is Brawler and Shove. So Brawler works really well for that because it gets them right up in the battle, so you can take them hits to recover with. And then Shove, he can also push guys away in case they are just getting overwhelming. Then his Rag, he has 1 free combat action, Born Leader, and Brothers in Arm 1 combat die. So this guy's really going to benefit from a lot of extra Born Leader. You can move a guy to your spot, which should be really fun. Or if you've healed them up after the end of last turn, spend one of your actions to move them out so that you're that much closer to start the action on their next turn. Maybe they moved back to you to heal a turn. So this guy could be a really powerful character. I might almost say he's broken with that Brother's Arm. He just had Medic, that'd be one thing, but that Brother and Arm part makes it pretty darn crazy. Alright, so this is the first of the really weird ones. We have Sheriff Mittens. So if this looks familiar, this is Bernie Sanders. They had the meme where he's sitting like in a chair, like all cozy, so they made him into like a hunter. Which is really funny. His big old chair, there's a banjo on there, there's a buffalo behind it, some horns. So that's really funny that they did that. I don't think he was like big in the news at the time. Granted, he's now at this time of the video, he's the president. But yeah, they were. No, he's not. Not Bernie Sanders. That's not our president. What am I talking about? It's Joe Biden's our president. But yeah, that's crazy that they made this into a thing, like just goofing around. So he's got, to start off, he's got 1 max range and escalation range. So that's cool. I've never seen anyone else with 2 abilities. So he gets to start off with extra range so he can shoot people, and as long as he keeps shooting them, he gains more and more die. So this guy's a guy you're probably going to want to sit somewhere and just have him snipe people. So to help that out, he actually gets the first ever guy I've seen that doesn't have just a straight up 1 action. He only gets +1 free ranged action. So in his yellow, he's going to definitely want to keep shooting. Then with his orange, he gets 1 free combat action, or he has +1 damage for range. So there you have to decide, is it better for you to do extra damage with each shot you do, or do you want to have 1 extra shot? So that could be like, if you're fighting bigger guys, extra damage is definitely helpful. Or you can take out brutes or abominations easier. But if you're just trying to pick off more guys, extra action might be better. Then he has +1 free combat action, +1 die, roll for range, or ironclad abomination. So again, extra combat action or extra roll of his dice basically makes his guns more accurate. So he can become a very powerful range shooter. And then Ironclad Abomination means he cannot be hurt by abominations. So that might not be a bad thing to have him sit there and try and pick off abominations if you get that. Since he doesn't have to worry about taking damage. That's definitely an interesting way to do a character. Alright, the other next one that's, non-Western related is the Judge. So this is Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, making sure I said her name right. So again, another non-Western character. So it's kind of cool. She's one of the Supreme Court justices. She's no longer with us, unfortunately, but yeah, that's cool they made her. She's also another Townsfolk. Because she has Lifesaver, which lets her spend an action to pull another survivor from one zone away to her, as long as that has a zombie to her. So, she's kind of standing near guys. She can pull them back to her to help out. She has +1 action in yellow and orange, 1 free range action, or Reaper range. So she can start picking off characters at range. And then in Reg has 1 free combat action, explosive expert, and ironclad abomination. So it's really funny that they basically gave both of these real world characters, hey, we can't be killed by big giant gross things. Like, something's gonna take us out, it's gonna be something small and insignificant. Like, but we're not worried about the big threats. We'll take on those. Explosive expert is fun. So if she throws a thing of dynamite. If she rolls a 4 or higher, she gets the dynamite back. So she can keep throwing dynamite at a distance as well and potentially get it back. So that's definitely a fun ability there. Alright, our first regular Western guy, we have Kristoff, who is based on Chris from the Magnificent Seven, the 1966 version. Yul Brenner, so not the newer updated version. But yeah, so like I don't know all these characters that well, so I can't tell you if their likenesses are super on or not. But usually they're pretty good. I mean, they're not going to be 100% one-to-one accurate because they didn't, call up these actors and get permission to use their likenesses, so they don't want to make them exact. But they're going to do their best here. So he has +1 dice roll for ranged, and then 1 action. His orange is 1 free ranged action, and marksman. Marksman, again, will let you, I believe, not shoot people. Survivors may freely choose targets for their ranged action, and friendly fire is ignored. So when he's shooting, he can choose to shoot anyone. He can take out runners or walkers before the brutes or abominations. His reg, he has +1 free fanning, +1 max range, or roll 6 +1 range guys. So if he rolls a 6 on any of his rolls, he gets +1 guy. Just +1 to the guy, I believe. Let me just double check to see how that's worded. Roll 6. Is it under R for roll? Yeah, roll 6 die action. Survivor may roll an additional die for each 6 rolled during an action of the specified type. Keep rolling additional dice as long as the die 6 is rolled. Game effect allows rerolls must be used before rolling any additional die. So that means if he rolls his dice for his attack and then he rolls a 6, he gets to reroll another one, as long as he's doing ranged actions for that. So again, you can kind of risk that, or you can just go with the extra range or the free fanning if you like doing the fanning ability. Alright, up next we have Connie. So Connie is on here somewhere. Connie is Everett Hill from Appaloosa, Michael Connell Bling. Kind of looks like, oh, why can't I think of his name now? He's like Christian Bale to me. He looks a little like Christian Bale, but he's supposed to be a guy from Appaloosa. So he probably, like, when they do their Kickstarter stuff, they have little quotes and things that go along with the characters. When they pop up, they say that little phrase or something, maybe like a, sometimes it's like when they reveal them, sometimes before. So between that and the looks is where people get this information. So he has escalation range, so just to do more dice every time he shoots range, +1 action, orange, 1 free range action, or roll 6 +1 damage. So every time he rolls a 6, he does 1 extra damage. And then red, he has 1 free range action, +1 die roll to range, or roll 6 +1 die to range. He's all about just shooting range. Plop him up on the balcony, or have him hide out on the train and just shoot people from a distance. Alright, up next we have Trips. Trips is Trinity from They Call Me Trinity. The actor is Terrence Hill. I love that he's holding a stick of dynamite. You don't see too many characters with that. So Trips gets +1 max range to begin with. And then he has 1 action in an orange, 1 free ranged action or explosive expert. And then red, 1 free ranged action, 1 die roll to ranged or fanning 1 damage. So those guys I'll kind of keep Will. You see where they're trying to do. They're trying to focus them into just being ranged. But they give you that little difference on what you'd like to do. Maybe you'd like to have them throw dynamite. Maybe you want to have one character have dynamite expert, because dynamite does enough to not only take out a group of enemies, it can also take out abominations in 1 hit. So it's definitely not bad to have someone that can utilize dynamite and then get it back very quickly. And then again, like you have the option of doing the fanning, but maybe you don't really like the fanning. So if you don't, you have other options to do. It's always a good thing to have. Next we have a Ruby. So Ruby is the lady from The Quick and the Dead, based on Sharon Stone. I love that she's dual-wielding rifles. You can't argue that that is not badass right there. Plus she's got a pistol on her hip just in case. So she has ambidextrous, which I have not had yet, so let's see what that does. Survivor treats all weapons as if they had the dual symbol. Ooh, that's crazy. So she can, as long as she has 2 of the same weapons, she can use them combined into 1 shot. So far, usually it's only pistols and some of the melee weapons. I don't think any of the rifles have that. But that means she can take 2 rifles, fire them as 1 combined action. So that means if each rifle has 2 dice, she now has to roll 4 dice. But they have to be the same rifle. But that's definitely cool. So she has +1 action. Then her orange is 1 die for combat or 1 free rifle action. Specifically rifle action. And then her red is +1 die to combat, +1 free combat action or point blank. Dual wielding at point blank, that's crazy. She could definitely be very powerful. Plus all them extra free dies. And if you don't want that, just having to get a roll 2 extra dice. And again, if you're combining them guns, so even if each gun, shotgun or rifle only had 1 die each, so now they have 2. And then if you are up into your red and you had an extra 4 dice, you're shooting 4 of them. With a rifle, which usually is a pretty decent thing, you can take out some big things right there. It's definitely cool. And then we have another lady cowboy. We have Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary is Sarah from Banditas, or Selma Hayek. Yeah, you definitely get a Selma Hayek vibe from her. So she starts off with Marksman. She has +1 action, orange, 1 free fanning action, or fanning, +1 to die roll. So they really want her to focus on the fanning. And then a red, 1 free move action, hit and run, or lucky. So lucky lets them re-roll any die. I'll just make sure I read that correctly. For each action a survivor takes, the player may choose to re-roll the die an additional time. The new results replace the old one. This skill stacks with equipment that allows re-rolls. Yeah, so that's actually not bad with the fanning ability too, because then you could, fan, you're like, oh, I didn't do very well. You could re-roll all your dice to try and do it. Because fanning usually lets you roll a lot of dice for a harder to hit accuracy, so getting to re-roll them for free is not bad at all. Plus Marksman, then when she does fan into a crowd, she could choose who to take out. So again, like with the way ranged weapons work, is if there's an Abomination or Brute, which have 3 and 2 health respectively, you have to take out them first. So at least with this fanning ability, with Marksman, if you're doing a regular shot or a fanning shot and you've got 3 damage, instead of having to take out one of the big guys, you could choose to take out a bunch of the small guys instead, which might potentially be better, especially if there's runners, because they're the last ones to get hit. You can choose to take out all the runners first. so that way they can't get on you closer. So definitely awesome. We got Benji. So Benji is, I believe he is Jeremiah Jackson from the movie Benji or Robert Redford. Blonde hair and a brown beard. He's got a Mario complex going on. But yeah, there's double hatchets. Plus a rifle on the back. Big fur boots. He's got them fur boots. So he's a brawler, so he gets to charge it. He gets Townsfolk right away, so he's both of them. So that means he can do multiple searches in the house. He can see around corners in the house for attacking actions. Plus he can use his charge ability and has the extra health. He gets +1 action. His orange is 1 free melee action or sprint. To either hit someone again or get closer to them or away from them. Then red, +1 damage for rifle, +1 free combat action, or charge +1 damage. That's kind of neat, because that way he has the backup. Basically, he's a melee character, he can run in, hit people, but if he is starting to die, you get to that red, you could switch over to the rifle, then you could pick up a rifle and he does extra damage with that, if nothing else. Or you could still has lots of health, hit charge, you can do some decent damage with that. So again, like that late game gives you some different options. We have Monica. Monica is Maria Elverex from Banditas. To go with our Selma Hayek, we have Penelope Cruz. So she has double swords. Oh, they kind of all sit on top of each other in the boxes. So she gets +1 die for melee, which is definitely nice to start off with. Although I wish she had ambidextrous in here, because she shows you're wielding the 2 swords. But lots of swords have that, so it's not a big deal. +1 action, then orange is 1 free ranged action or charge 1 die. And then your red is +1 die to combat, roll 6 +1 damage for melee or shove. Yeah, so she's gonna get up close and personal. Yeah, in the middle there, they give her that free range action. So again, gives her a little bit of extra versatility. So in case you just need to have her step back and take some damage in the middle of the game, that's definitely a cool thing to be able to do. Then we have Vina. Or Vinga, maybe. This is Ella Swenson from Cowboys and Aliens, Olivia Wilde's character. Which is an odd pull out of all the Western movies. I mean, I know it's technically I guess it's technically a Western. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. But again, I suppose lots of older Westerns didn't have a lot of female leads or main characters, so they had to pull from some of the newer stuff. So she has hit and run, which is great for a brawler to start off with. 1 action, orange, 1 free move action, or gunslinger. She can jump into the gunslinger class. And then her red is charge, +1 damage, fanning, +1 to dice roll, or jump. So this one's a little bit interesting, because if she doesn't take gunslinger, she can't use the fanning ability. So if she doesn't take that, then she actually loses out on that fanning. But it's fine. If you want to do that, you can definitely go that route. Otherwise, you can keep doing that charge, or jump lets her move 2 spaces. So it gets her a little bit extra movement around. She gets some decent versatility in there, how you want to play as her. Because you can always take Gunslinger and then keep one of the other abilities. You don't have to go with Fanning. So definitely cool there. Up next, we have Earl, who is everyone's favorite narrator and god, Ned Logan from Unforgiven or Morgan Freeman. And things didn't go as he planned. It definitely looks like Morgan Freeman, yo. kind of hanging out. I got a shotgun, pistol in my pants. I can't do a Morgan Freeman impression right now for whatever reason, but he has one free search action. So Townsfolk have the ability to search multiple times in a turn. He can just do it once for free, no matter what. So you can basically, if you have him in a house, you may as well have him search for free, no matter what, because you have it. So he's going to get you items a lot quicker. So he's very helpful that way. +1 action. He has combat reflexes and point blank. We went over point blank. Combat reflexes basically state that if a zombie comes within line of sight, you get a free combat action. So if they pop up on top of you, you can get a free melee. If they pop up in range distance, you can get a free ranged attack. Really good for like when they pop around the corner. Or if they're summoning in front, or they're spawning in front of you, you can try and take out a few of them right off the bat. Then he has in red 1 die for combat, 1 free ranged action, or 1 +1 to dice roll for ranged. So you're gonna want to keep him at a distance. Probably keep him in the house so you can do him search actions. Then if he needs to pop out to shoot things, you can definitely stick his gun out a window. Or up off the balcony and take some stuff out. She's a good support character. Then we have Martin. Martin is Brett Maverick from the movie Maverick, or Mel Gibson. Double dynamite. He's going all out with dynamite there. That definitely makes having all these extra characters cool, because if there's something you really like to do, there's a character that's probably going to fit that niche for you. So he starts with Explosive Expert. Other characters have it, but some of them don't get it until orange or maybe red. So you got to play for a while to get it. You really want to play with Dynamite, this is a great guy to start with. The only thing is you have to find the Dynamite first. We kind of need if his item slot was he may hold a stick of Dynamite. But I think it's +1 action, 1 free range action, or 1 max range. So he's going to give you some extra range stuff. And then his red is 1 free move action, ambidextrous, and jump. So you're going to be able to move around a bunch or dual wield weapons. But yeah, you're going to keep him at a distance. Plus, since he's a townsfolk, you can do multiple searches. You might just have him spend his first couple of actions, or maybe his first turn, his full turn even, to get him into a house and just have him search for dynamite. Be the best way to go. And then if he finds other guns and stuff, better things, hey, you take this gun, you take this sword, anyone finds dynamite, give me dynamite. I'll blow some shit up. Then we have Lilith. Lilith is Maggie from Godless, who is played by Mary Agnes. So she's more of like, definitely a cowgirl, but she's not wearing like the dress, and they also didn't make her, like some of the other females where they have them, where they made them like very, I try and figure out how to say this without not being offensive, because there's nothing wrong with this person's body type, but they made the other ones a lot more curvy. Like, they're like the attractive, like, western-y cowboy, like, it's like, yeah, no, this is what probably most, regular cowgirls look like. They're probably a little bit on the tougher side, because they're probably out doing, the same stuff that the men are doing, where some of these other characters are like tend to be the, like damsel that was like they were the lady at the bar, and then now they're all of a sudden they're in the fight, type of thing. Yeah, she's got townsfolk, because she, of course, just to start off doing all that, and then she gains gunslinger right away, so she can definitely do some range stuff. +1 action, orange, 1 free range action, and 1 max range. And then red, 1 free combat action, roll 6 +1 damage, and shove. Shove could be very powerful for a ranged character, because if you can just sit there and shoot, and then if the zombies get closer to you, shove them all back, and then now you can start shooting at them again. You don't have to waste your movement. That would be a very good combination, especially when she has max range or free ranged attacks. you can do some serious damage with her. Again, without having gunslinger, you get the fanning ability. Definitely cool. Just if anyone's wondering, there's a reminder on what fanning does. It says you may use an equipped pistol to perform a ranged attack with these modifiers. So you get to roll 6 dice, but your accuracy becomes 5. So it's harder to hit, but you get to roll a lot more dice versus maybe the 1 or 2. Also creates a lot of noise, so you're going to not try and do it from hiding. But then you also have to reload your weapon, so you can't do that with the same pistol multiple times. Up next we have Hobbs. Hobbs is Kelvin Candy from Django Unchained, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and that the miniature maybe doesn't look as much like it, but definitely that artwork does. The bullet bandoliers, double pistols. So he starts off with a fun ability. He has Taunt. He may spend an action to pick a group of survivor or zombies within line of sight. Actually, I don't even know if they have to be within line of sight. Survivor can use the skill for free once during each of their turns. Select a zone up to 2 zones away from the survivor with a clear path to them. No line of sight is needed. So it has to be a clear path. So it could be like around a corner, or it could be like 1 step into a building. It just has to be a clear line of path. Like you can't select something where there's no way for them to get to you. Like you couldn't, like there's if there's like a build, for some reason there's a building like completely in the way, they couldn't walk through 2 walls to get to you. But then what you do is you, all the zombies standing in the selected zone immediately gain extra activation. They try to reach the taunting survivor by any means available. The taunted zombies ignore all other survivors. They do not attack them and leave the zones they're standing in if needed to reach the taunting survivor. So this is really fun because like you can use the boom and the bang mechanic already to like create noise somewhere else to maybe distract a zombie that direction if they can't see anybody. This is basically this guy's running out there shouting, creating noise, trying to draw people towards them. So it works much like that, but on a very quicker scale because it automatically makes them move. So this would be a great thing, like end of the turn, zombies are sitting on a spot with some guy or about to move into that spot to hit them. Yeah, you could definitely have him stand 2 spaces away and pull them towards them. And since he can be up to 2 spaces away and they can only move, they only get 1 activation, they only get to move 1 spot towards you, they're probably not going to get to you that turn unless they have like a runner or have an extra activation. So it's definitely a fun ability to play around with, and then he did it nice and early. He has +1 action, he has fanning, +1 free reload, which we just talked about that, and roll 6 +1 die for ranged. In red, +1 die for range, +1 for ranged attack, or fanning, +1 die to roll. So he really wants to play this fanning ability. So once you get him into his yellow, you can definitely do that fanning. Taunt guys towards you, get them out in the open, pull them away, then fan into them. Then if you're free reload, you'll be able to do it again. And if you're in your red, you actually get extra die roll on there too. So that could definitely be pretty powerful. Alright, then we have Clink. Clink is... so this is one of these weird ones. So they have listed as people thought maybe he was the guy knowing the bad, from the good, the bad, and the ugly, played by Lee Van Cleef. They also recommend he might have been other Lee Van Cleef's characters from other movies he's been in, but they call him, reference the Clink is because he was always in a bunch of movies with Clint Eastwood. So that was a reference there. I love the pistol and the big giant sword. But yeah, so that was the reference in there. He has a gunslinger, but he has +1 die for combat, +1 action. His orange, he gains 1 free move action or becomes a brawler, which gives him that charge ability. 1 free combat action, charge, +1 to die roll, or fanning, +1 to die roll. So as he moves in, you can kind of decide. He's combat, which does anything, move action if he wants, or free combat action, or you can like lean into that charge or that fanning, depending on if you want. But again, like the other character have, he won't gain that charge ability unless you take the brawler. Let's remind everyone what charge does. Is once per turn, you may spend 1 action to move up to 2 zones containing zombies. Then perform 1 free melee action, and you start with 3 health. So if he does do that, he goes up his extra health point. Our next character is Janie. Janie is Joanne, or Joni, probably Joni, Stubbs from Deadwoods, played by Kim Dickens. Yeah, they did change her thing around a little bit, because there she's got dual wielding a knife, which is really cool. They have her single-handed, but she has a pistol. I wish they left her the double-bladed. It looked a lot cooler, but I don't know why they did. Who knows why they change stuff when they do for these miniatures. So she has taunt right away if she just went over, which is definitely fun. +1 action, she has hit and run and shove. Ooh, so do you want to push guys away, or do you want to try and kill one of them and then move yourself? So that could be interesting choices on your gameplay. Then red, 1 free melee action, or +1 zone per move, or charge, +1 to die roll. So she got some interesting things at the end, depending on how you would like to play her. She'd be a very interesting melee character. Then we have Rob. Rob is... he is Charlie from Open Range, played by Kevin Costner. When I first heard Open Range, I was thinking King Cup, which is his golf movie. When I read Kevin Costner, I'm like, why would they pick a golf movie for a Western character? And then I'm like, oh wait, it's Open Range being like a shooting range makes more sense. He's got the double-barreled shotgun or rifle, which is really cool. And then Rob would be the word Rob would be a reference to Rob, like Robin Hood, who he also played. So he starts off with Steady Hand. Steady Hand lets him... I don't know, because it's not listed in my book. Is it in the other one? Steady Hand. Okay, so this is an ability that was listed in the Steampunk set. So it says survivors can ignore other survivors of their choosing when missing with ranged attacks. This skill does not apply to game effects for killing everything in the targeted zone. So basically, this is essentially what it's saying is that if he fires into a crowd and he misses, he can choose to not hit a survivor. So it's not as good as Marksman, which ignores friendly fire as well, but it's definitely not a bad thing to have. So he has +1 action, he has +1 die for ranged or +1 free ranged action, and then his reds are 1 free ranged action, 1 free max range or escalation range. So it's all going to be about ranged. And then since he has that steady hand, you can go ahead and just have him fire into, like, hey, have a brawler run out or have someone else get right up next to it. He can just go ahead and fire into that crowd without having to worry about hitting, even if he misses. So it kind of gives him the extra ability to do all his ranged a lot easier. So you can just shoot around everyone. Then we have Garth. Garth is the Duke from The Searchers, or John Wayne. How could you not have a Western movie without John Wayne? I do like in the artwork, it looks like he's almost firing both of his weapons back and forth, like pistol, shotgun, or rifle. I call it shotgun, but it's just a rifle. Here they have them spread out a little bit more, but that could be like a balance issue for the characters. Alright, so then we have Gunslinger, of course, 1 free ranged action. So this is an extra range right off that. Plus 1 additional action then. Then it's orange, 1 free ranged action, or plus 1 guide to ranged. And then it's red, is 1 free range action. Fanning, plus 1 damage, or marksman. Now, marksman could be very, very good, especially towards the end. But even that free ranged action. So, I mean, if by the time you get to red, he would have his regular 3 actions, plus he could have his 1 yellow action and his 3 other free ranged actions. So he could be doing 7 shots in a turn. Just regular shots. He could fan 1 of them if he needed to, or he could fan with multiple, actually, probably different weapons. But, yeah, that's crazy, though. He can just sit there and fire, yeah, and do as much as he needs to be doing. That's definitely, I can see John Wayne doing that. Alright, our next character is Mabel. And Mabel is on my list somewhere. Mabel is Annabelle Bradsford from Maverick, played by Jodie Foster. So we got double swinging pickaxe. So it would have been kind of neat with her if that other woman had the sword. That would have been kind of a neat combo. So she starts off with a lucky, which lets her reroll her dice. Plus 1 action, says hit and run or taunt. So, it's a hard choice to do. Do you want to, taunt guys to bring them around, set them up for some good combos, or do you want to get in there and be dirty? We have red. We have 1 charge per turn, so that's nice. You can use it a second time. 1 free combat action or charge plus 1 to die roll. So yeah, different. Again, how do you want to play these characters? This is really fun. Alright. Then we have Rusty. Rusty is Rooster Cogburn from the 2010 version of True Grit, or Jeff Bridges. Yeah, I definitely see that as being Jeff Bridges. The pouches on his jacket. So there's a Jeff Bridges character who is going to do 1 free ranged action. So he's gonna again be a ranged character. Why are you not sitting in there? Right, there we go. Plus 1 action in orange, 1 die to combat or gunslinger. So you can switch over to his gunslinger and get some extra bonuses from that. And then in red, 1 free ranged action, plus 1 die roll to range or marksman. Yes, again, just stay at range is how do you kind of want to play them. Get extra dice. Or do you want to have the gunslingers do some little bit more versatility with that? Marksman's always a fun ability to have. Alright, I think I'm going to leave you with a teaser for this one. We're actually going to make this a 3-part video because these zombies, or these survivors, are taking a lot longer than I thought they were going to be. I'm about halfway through them. So we'll do a second video finishing off the other half of the survivors, and a third one going through the zombies and abominations because they won't take nearly as long. So there's your kind of, cheat into the next one. See you guys then. Check out the rest of the Zombicide videos. Bye.